Imagine spending your entire life chained inside a dark cave, unable to turn your head, forced to stare at a blank wall. This is where Plato's famous Allegory begins, one of the most powerful thought experiments in all of philosophy. Written over 2,000 years ago, this story continues to challenge how we think about reality, knowledge, and the very nature of truth itself. After we examine Plato's conception of the cave, I'll explain why I think this metaphor is crucially important to understanding the online media ecosystem and your own place trapped inside of it. In Plato's Allegory, prisoners have been chained in a cave since childhood. Behind them burns a fire, and between the fire and the prisoners, people carry objects that cast shadows on the wall. These shadows are all the prisoners have ever known. They give the shadows names, they study their patterns, and they believe these flickering images are reality itself. For them, the shadow world is the only world that exists. But then one prisoner breaks free. He turns around and sees the fire, the objects, the people carrying them. At first, the light hurts his eyes. He's confused and wants to return to the familiar shadows. But he continues, climbing up and out of the cave. When he finally emerges into the sunlight, he's overwhelmed. Gradually, his eyes adjust. He sees trees, mountains, the sky, and eventually he can look at the sun itself. He realizes that everything he believed was real was merely a shadow of true reality. Filled with this newfound understanding, the freed prisoner returns to the cave to share his discovery with the others. But when he tries to explain what he's seen, the other prisoners think he's gone mad. His eyes, now accustomed to sunlight, struggle in the darkness. The prisoners see him stumbling and conclude that the journey has harmed him. They refuse to be freed, and if anyone tried to drag them out, they would resist violently. The world of the cave, this world of shadows, was all they had ever known. Not only was it provably true to them in every way they knew to check, but it was also the consensus of everybody present except for the one man with radically different ideas. To them, it was irrefutable common sense, and to challenge that notion would be to challenge everything they thought they knew about the entire world. So what does this allegory really mean? Plato uses the cave to illustrate the difference between the world of appearances and the world of true knowledge. The shadows represent our everyday perceptions, the things we see and experience through our senses. But these are not ultimate reality. The journey out of the cave represents philosophical education, the difficult process of moving from ignorance to understanding. The sun symbolizes the highest form of knowledge, what Plato called the form of the good, the ultimate truth that illuminates everything else. The significance of Plato's cave extends far beyond ancient philosophy, though. It raises questions that are in many ways more relevant today than ever. How do we know what's real? Are we trapped by our own limited perspectives? What responsibility do those with knowledge have to enlighten others? These are questions that every human being will always have to face as we reconcile the world we create inside of our heads with both real, tangible reality and also with the perceived world of other people. In particular, this concept perfectly illustrates the personalized echo chambers that we have all been sucked into online. Courtesy of search and social media algorithms, alongside social polarization and flagrant media bias, we are constantly consuming an endless flow of information that normalizes and conforms to our preferred narratives and worldviews. In this way, we are all essentially being chained into the very same cave that Plato described. Since inconvenient information is deliberately hidden away from us, we only perceive shadows of reality that are stripped of detail and sanitized to make the world fit neatly into low-resolution ideologies that are otherwise incapable of truly reflecting our complex reality as it is. Additionally, the cave serves to warn us what happens when we try to re-enter our echo chambers with knowledge of the outside world. The people trapped inside are effectively prisoners of the low-resolution world in which they live. Not only is it very difficult for one person to credibly challenge a group consensus in the eyes of the other members, but they will commonly find contradictory information to be so shocking and upsetting that they would rather exile you away than simply consider what you are saying. Everybody will need to make their own choice to seek answers and venture for themselves into the complex world of the sunlight. since the only alternative is to drag them kicking and screaming the entire way out. The allegory of the cave has always reminded us that true understanding requires us to question our assumptions, to step outside our comfort zones, and to be willing to see the world in entirely new ways. Now more than ever, we are all trapped inside of narrative caves by the media we consume and the social bubbles that we exist in both online and in our daily lives. Remembering this is crucial to keeping ourselves grounded and continuing to seek the truth in the face of lies and manipulation. Every day, Plato's Cave challenges us to ask ourselves, are we still watching shadows on the wall, or have we stepped into the light? Thanks for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe if you are so inclined, and I hope to see you back soon for more bite-sized philosophy.